Welcome home all. You are here ready to go for a 10 minutes of truth on a Monday, and you're going to be watching this. I don't do this too often, but I'm not a big man behind the curtain kind of guy. I do dig on transparency, and apparently I didn't know, but in entertainment you're supposed to not say anything about the maneuvers and the cool things they do. I don't really care. I don't give a damn. As long as the meat and potatoes are there, get my papas right and get some carne and papas, you're good to go. All right, so as long as the material and the meat are good, what are the other bells and whistles going to matter? They really don't. So you're going to be watching this one as a recording. I'm recording tonight on a Friday because I'm heading out to Puerto Rico on Sunday, or excuse me, it's actually Saturday, and we're going to head out tomorrow, Saturday, into Sunday to Puerto Rico. I've got business on the island there and a whole bunch of other things that we're going to lay out when I get back, but I've got a little teaser that you're going to be able to see anyway. So it depends on when you get this one. So either way, 10 minutes of truth, same format, same stuff, meat and potatoes, right? And so we're going to hit you with one today. Chingazo here, chingazo there, maybe an elbow, maybe a knee, all the above. Political, gut punch and political hit to the head and make you think a little bit. As usual, and as always, we put absolutely nothing up that is not factual. You may not agree or like my assessment or what I see or what I'm talking about, but there are no untruths and there are no lies that we put out. That's why it's 10 minutes of truth, specifically truth. Okay, so we're going to talk about something tonight that we've touched on slightly, but needs to be fleshed out even more during this ugly time, this period of the COVID that we're dealing with. And you'll understand why once we get to it, because I've quite literally had a lot of people messaging me and directly asking me to not only continue to address the subject and to address the issue, but to continue to do so, to draw focus and attention, because it's life and death. It's quite literally life and death. And yes, we're talking about COVID, right? Coronavirus and its effect and its impact on our society and different subgroups and different industries and different aspects of the American life. And at this point, if you're still denying that it exists, by the way, and you think it's a hoax, you're probably not watching my show, and you should probably just leave, okay? Because if you're still there, I'll be nice. You're probably not going to want to watch the show, in which case you're not breaking my heart, because I've always said to you, if you don't like what I say or do or present to you, submit for your approval. You always have the American option to simply shut me off and go somewhere else. Gotta love this country, right? All American, baby. All right, let's get down to business. Let's get down to some chigazos. Give me that first image. All right, so some of you guys know, because you've been with me a while, I was doing this for a bit and I kind of got away from it. I apologize, because some of it is it's omnipresent, it's omnioppressive, and it's stifling to talk about and to deal with and face the facts that we are losing Americans. We are losing economy. We are losing jobs. We're losing all kinds of stuff. So I don't know about you. No, we're not winning right now. We're losing bad. And if you're a real American, you have no problem saying that, because real Americans stand up and speak truth, regardless of the outcome or the consequence, for fear or favor. Not here. This is Supermex Nation. We don't do that. So let's get down to business. American deaths as of today. Now, reminder, this is on a Saturday over the weekend, and you guys will have this information. We are at the end of August, going into September, and the current amount, death toll, is 181,143 Americans. 181,143 Americans. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but if your only defense to defend the indefensible is to say that it's not as bad as it seems, or there's really not that many, and I've said this before, what would be okay? 160,000 dead Americans and climbing. 140,000. Oh, let's have your pick. Throw some craps out there. 100,000, 60,000 dead Americans. If your defense for the indefensible is that it's not that bad, get that weak stuff out of here. Get it out of here. It doesn't belong here. Because in Supermex Nation, we face facts and call out truth. Okay? And we don't minimize, deny, make excuses for, and while away or complain away facts, data. Okay? And aside from that, That number right there, that $181,000, or excuse me, dollars, 181,000 people that we're talking about, American lives, that amount, even if you said it wasn't that bad, it's still worse than every other country on the planet. So again, get your weak sauce and take it somewhere else. We only use habanero here. All right, the real deal. American unemployment is at 10.2%, a little bit of a bright spot, bright light. It's been like moving. It was uglier earlier in the pandemic, then it kind of moved, and then everybody wanted to open up because it's a hoax and it doesn't exist, and then we climbed back up. The job market, or the jobless claim, has fluctuated. And I'll say this, I don't want to go too deep because I'll be here all night on it, and we're probably going to do a 10-minute show on it. But the American unemployment number is really, really difficult to get a hard, specific handle on, because it has to do with people not just telling the truth. I don't want to use the truth here, but giving accurate, factual information on their job loss or lack of job, or if they've gone back to work, whether it was a gig job, 2 hours, 3 hours, no hours. It's really, really difficult. We are analyzing all kinds of numbers, and we can't get anything that's consistently stable across the board with everybody else. But this is from the Labor Department. Okay, so as of today, the unemployment rate in America is 10.2%. I actually believe it to be much higher, but you have to have factual information. If you can't verify, confirm, then I can't give you a number that's in excess of that. Okay, and I won't do that because we only do facts here. This is what we can verify and confirm. 10.2%, but hazard that the country is 330 million Americans. Do the math. I won't stay here because I'm not a math teacher, but obviously, you do the math. 10.2%, we have 330 million Americans. So yeah, people out of work, that's in excess of 30 million, in excess of it. Okay, American debt, one I've been putting on you, and there is no game playing and no hiding, no revision here. This is really, really simple, ladies and gentlemen. This mess here, we are now at $26.69 trillion. I've actually kept this thing open. You can have a tracker. You have a tracker of every dollar that gets accrued to the national debt. Scary thought, and it's always ticking. We're doing nothing, absolutely nothing to bring that number down. Oh, but by the way, hey, millennials, it's all your fault, and that's going to be all your debt, right? Think about that. Yeah, exactly. We're laying this on you. We're handing you this mess, 26.69 trillion, and climbing, and we're blaming you for it because your generation is lazy and doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, right. Really? Wrong answer. That's us, my age and older, being lazy and taking the easy way out and blaming someone else for the work we've done because we're the ones that control things. We run the government. We're old. We're older than you. We're in charge. That mess is our mess, but we're going to blame you for it. See how that works? That sounds familiar though, right? Yeah, you know how that works. I screw up, I make a mess, I sucked everything up, I take everything, and then when I got the big debt and the big baggage to carry, I hand it to you and say it's all your fault. You millennials need to come out and vote. Get serious about your business. That's my pontification. All right, let's get moving. Let me in the next one. Got some images for you. Take a looky here. This is a factory, a food factory, I believe poultry. And you have these women in the time of COVID hazarding through what is not much in the way of PPE, protective equipment. Okay, this is going on every day in America. Every day, there are people that get up and go to work to feed us, to feed the rest of us, to make sure that the economy continues and the food continues and we have food on the table or food to buy. Okay, and these people go and, you know, not a lot of social distancing here. Okay, packed in tight quarters in unsanitary situations. Yeah, this is going on right now every day. These people get up and they go and expose themselves at greater degree than every other American out there because their job basically is predicated on them being in tight, confined quarters, tight areas. And take a look at who they are. And I'll put it out there because that's what this show is about. It's about minorities, specifically Hispanic and in my particular case, Mexican-American minorities, brown people, doing the Lord's work, the dirty work, the food work, from the factory to this one here. Let's get that next image up. From the factory with this guy, another one, another poultry guy, okay, another Hispanic in a tight, confined space. He doesn't even have a covering on his mouth. I don't want to talk about it, okay, but two images of Mexican Americans or Hispanic people, that subgroup, that population, you know what I'm doing, stay with me now, working in a factory to make sure we have food to eat. Next image, factory to field. Factory to the field, something I know a little bit about, because I've been there. These people, and I want you to get a good look at this image. These people are picking fruit. They're picking food to feed us and put on our tables, and they're doing this in California while the wildfires rage in the background. I want you to be serious about this. Look at this. These people are not just getting up every day and going and doing the ugly work of picking our food off of the ground, in the ground, feeding us, and they're doing it under these conditions, COVID conditions, with not adequate PPE. Let's be honest and be straight here. That's not PPE. That's a half mask and hope I don't get anything. But I got to go to work because I need food on the table. And better I go to work because if I don't, then others don't eat either. And in the background, this is pretty stark and illustrative of what's going on in California right now. We're dealing with massive wildfires throughout, up and down the state of California, mostly Northern California. But these people, and this is in the Salinas Valley, an area well known for its agricultural output that feeds America, these people are picking food under and in the background specter of the California wildfires. And they're still doing their business. You know what that is? That's no fear. You know what that is? That's all American right there. That is all American. They ain't complaining or crying. They're working, ladies and gentlemen. They are working to feed you. Next image. There you go. That's about as good as you're going to get in terms of PPE equipment. Again, another gentleman and group of people, Hispanic people, the Hispanic people that we have their kids in cages at the border, the Hispanic people that we're trying to get rid of out of this country, the Hispanic people, and quote me, that are the backbone of the American food economy. You heard what I said. The backbone of the American food economy. These people do the dirty work. These people do the things that other Americans do not want to do. They're not sitting here crying and complaining. They're working, goddammit. They are working. And in my case, in my world, in Supermex Nation, that right there, that's all American. That's all American. They get up putting themselves at risk because COVID situation, airborne, and they are putting themselves at risk by going out there and working every day in large numbers or with other people. But they go to work and they feed us. That's all American. That is all American right there. If you can't see that, there's something wrong with you. You want to talk about our founding fathers and our forefathers that worked to build this country? There it is right there. Just a little darker shade of skin. That's it. That's about as all American as you get. Next image. Here you go. COVID-19 continues to cause 1 out of every 5 deaths among Hispanics and Native Americans. Sidebar here for a second. Sidebar. You do realize in Hispanics, we get careful with the wording here because I'm real specific about this too. There's Hispanics, there's Latinos, there's Mexicanos, there's a lot. Okay, we get jumbled in a lot of ways to try to categorize us. And I'll be the first to tell you, we're not categorizable that way. We really aren't. You just do your thing and that's what you understand of us, okay? So Hispanics and Native Americans. Because in essence, what real, the numbers are or the terms are, Hispanic or Latino, Latinx, or Mexican American, Mexicanos, whatever, what you're looking at is native peoples to this continent, this hemisphere, North America, South America, right? They were native to this place. When we're talking specifically about Native Americans, those are the people that were native to this country, this land, in its boundaries currently. Okay? But there's a homeboy, and a homegirl that live in the northern deserts of Sonora, close to Arizona and New Mexico, and they're pretty much the same ethnic background as a Mexican American that's over the border, because they come from the same people in background, only mingled and mixed over time. So I wanted to make sure I'm clear on that. I'm still a teacher, by the way. I still got to do that. So something real clear here. I want you to look at these graphs. So we've got Hispanic, we've got Native American, we got Asian, we got black, we got white, and we got other. I don't even know what the others are. It's like it's whatever else, whatever they wanted to not jumble in terms of a color or a specific group. But pay attention here. Look at the darker shaded bars further to the left on the screen. Take that back on the graph. It'll be the more left bars on the graph in each of the subgroups. Okay, so the darker portions, the darker bars, represent earlier in the pandemic when it was really bad in, I want to say, like April into May, okay, maybe even into June. And then as time goes on and those graphs begin to move and the numbers begin to move and the shading becomes lighter, that means there's less. Okay, it's not as bad, as severe. But I want you to take a look at these subgroups here. The only subgroups that either went down and came back up or have never gone down at all and continue to rise are the Hispanic and Native American subgroups. Look at their right corner. Look at the right side of the graph for Hispanic and Native American. Those numbers are going up in relation to what was done before. All right, and my overall for this, go ahead and give me the next one. The overall for this, and this is specifically California because we're having a lot of trouble getting numbers on the nation. I got to wonder about that. I'm really beginning to wonder about that. When did we ever have an issue with getting data? There's a joke about there being so much damn data put out, and it's like you get tired of it. Maybe that's the case. We're tired of it, right? We don't think we need to hear it anymore. Listen to it, see it, and I think people are cooking books and skewing numbers. I really do. So what we do have right now, right in front of you, is California. There are data sets and there is hard data on what's going on in terms of the pandemic in the state of California. We're keeping numbers, and I'm happy for that. We need to. Don't deny or hide from the problem, because then you'll never solve the problem. Okay? That doesn't work. You can hide it all you want, because if it fits your political narrative, you don't want to hear about it. But I'm going to make you hear about it, especially if you're watching this. Okay, so all cases and deaths associated with COVID-19 by race and ethnicity. All right, and then it breaks down the different groups. And not a coincidence. So some of you will say, and it's legitimate, and you should, okay, the state of California has a large Latino population. That's what the term that we're going to use here. Latino population. It's larger than most, because California is a big state, the biggest state in terms of population. And there are a lot of Mexican, American, Hispanic, Latino, all that, in the state of California. But take a look at this thing. Look at the number of cases in relation to the others. It's staggering. The number of cases, 276,000 Latino cases of COVID. The next group, the large group, white, and I still don't like using that term, but here it is, white, 77,000, Asian 24, African American 19,000, multiracial, and then it goes down in lesser in number. But that number by itself dwarfs and encompasses all the other subgroups combined. If you go to the far right, you look at the percentage of California population, Latinos make up 38.9% of the population. White makes up 36.6%, and then in descending order, the other ethnicities, races, etc. Okay? So just on that alone, roughly, and we can say reasonably, that the Latino and white population are roughly equal or the same in the state of California. But look at the cases. Look at the number of cases. That's staggering. It's a staggering amount. It's 77,000's a quarter of the 276, roughly. Okay? And then look at the percentage of death. 48.4% of the deaths. Definitely higher than the percentage of the population, and 29% is lower than the percentage of the population for white folk. Okay? Why the disparity? And that's what we're doing the show for and with you tonight. The disparity is simple. Okay? It isn't that there's some genetic thing that is predisposition for Hispanics, Latinos, Mexican people to die more or contract more than every other ethnicity. And for the record, I took my first official COVID test today, and I'm negative. And I'm out a lot. I'm out with my mask, doing my thing, but I'm out a lot. I haven't contracted, okay, and I haven't gotten the virus. So that's just me. There's a lot of other, and I'm definitely not minimizing because it's a reality that more are dying. My point overall here is that if you look at the numbers and the percentage of the population, Latino in this categorization is staggeringly high in relation to the rest of the population in California. And by extension, because California is such a big part of the nation in terms of population, it is beginning to skew that way as a whole. As a whole. And I want you to consider that. Okay, I want you to consider that. And why? Again, it's not genetic predisposition. If they find that, then I'll be the first to come back and say, okay, we have some aspect of who we are in our ethnicity that predisposes us to contraction of the virus. I brought up my point, I haven't. Or death by the virus. Obviously, I haven't. I'm here. So I don't think it's that. What I do know is what I've been showing you. That the Latino population in California in particular, and most of the other states along the Sun Belt into the Midwest, they're in the fields, and they're in the factories. They're in the farms. Field to factory, feeding you, and exposing themselves at greater risk and greater number because they occupy some of the, if not the lowest wage and lowest beneficial jobs in the American economy. Hence, the reason and the rationale why I said earlier in 10 Minutes of Truth, Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicans are the backbone of the American food economy. And that backbone is dying in greater numbers than every other population in the country. Consider that. So while you're over there arguing about black and white, remember that brown's in the middle. And we're taking it on the chin worse than every other subgroup. Am I minimizing another? Absolutely not. I'm spitting facts to you. There's no emotion here with me. This is straight, to the point, factual, science-driven data. Why? Because we're doing the dirty damn jobs in this country. So the next time you talk about sending us all back, go ahead. See what will happen to this economy. And a lot of you do know what will happen to the economy. You like to wink and say, hey, get them back, culture wars. But deep down inside, you don't want to go out there and pick those grapes, those fig, chili, cotton, work in a factory, poultry place, meat place, slaughterhouse. You ain't going to do that. Let's be straight, America. You don't want to do that anymore. You don't have that kind of backbone anymore. Fortunately, there are some in America that still do. They just so happen to look a little bit like me. Another image? You got more? What do we got? Was that it? This one was it. Okay, that was good. I thought I was thinking about something else. So, I'm good. Go ahead and remove this one. We're good. These are facts. This is data. This is going on right now. There's no hyperbole. It's a simple statement of fact. Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicans, again, use whatever damn term you want. They are the backbone of this country in so many ways, yet treated poorly. I said this a while ago, and I'm going to say it again. White to black, while you're arguing here and there, no stop at brown. No stop at brown? Come on, come in here. We're good people. We do good things. We work. We're humble. We're respectful. We love the flag. We love this country. We serve in incredible numbers, by the way. We serve this country and die for this country in massive numbers in relation to our percentage of the population. And for damn sure, we do the dirty work in this country in greater percentage of population than any other subgroup in this country. Any. So watch this. I enjoy pissing off people on both the left and the right, depending on the issue, right? Watch this. Brown lives matter. Don't they? Those of you out there like to say all lives matter. Don't brown lives matter? Can you not say that? You can say black lives matter if you're on this side, say on the left. Might as well have brown there too. Why not? We're doing the dirty work. We're dying. And not to minimize what goes on in the streets, because that's garbage, by the way. People getting shot and killed because of their color, that's garbage and that's un-American. But while that gets a lot of attention, watch this. While that gets a lot of attention, I'm bringing attention to this slow, ugly die that's going on right before our eyes. And just because it's not as dramatic or violent, doesn't make it any damn less important. These people are dying. and they're dying to feed you. Consider that for your approval. I'll be back. Supermax is out.